Swifties across the globe were said to have been celebrating, with some even breaking into dance inside studios as the announcement spread. And though one anchor pretended not to know who was being talked about, it quickly became clear that it was Taylor Swift, who was revealed to be entering her engagement era with Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce after the singer had just announced it on her Instagram an hour earlier, setting the platform ablaze with a post that within 60 minutes had already gathered around 12 million likes. A reaction so staggering that one of the presenters joked it had been all of them dancing and all 12 million likes had been theirs. Before the narrative shifted to how the love story had begun, almost 2 years prior when Kelce had decided to take his chance, calling her out publicly on his New Heights podcast, sharing with listeners that he had been disappointed when he was unable to get backstage at her concert, to hand her a friendship bracelet he had prepared with his phone number on it, an act that at first was teased and debated, but which in hindsight now looked like the opening move of what became a significant relationship. A clever play that later unfolded alongside record-breaking achievements, including Taylor's monumental Eras Tour, major Super Bowl appearances for Kelce, and the release of her album The Tortured Poets Department, where she wrote openly about their relationship, feeling as though it had echoes of high school intensity, and even playfully asked in her lyrics whether her partner would marry, kiss, or kill her, noting that it was just a game, but also giving the impression she was wagering on all three outcomes, with her evocative lines about entwined fingers, blushing cheeks beneath twinkling lights, and memories of their first meeting fueling the narrative further. And as commentators admitted that Swift's lyricism was known in deep detail by fans who often understood more than even journalists themselves, the question naturally turned toward where one might even begin when planning a wedding of such magnitude, a Swift-Kelce extravaganza of unprecedented proportions. And so the conversation introduced celebrity wedding planner David Tutera, who, when asked how he would put such an event into context, declared confidently that he believed it to be the wedding of the century, arguing that many people had long been waiting for this moment, that the energy created by such news brought a celebratory feeling not just for fans, but for the country at large, and that it represented a wonderful occasion to be shared, if the couple chose to make it public, though he quickly acknowledged that privacy might still be something the pair valued, noting that while earlier in the year the world had already seen another enormous wedding with Jeff Bezos and his wife, Swift and Kelce might decide on something different, and while no location had yet been disclosed or shared with anyone, Tutera speculated that the possibilities ranged from a small gathering to a massive celebration, though he personally hoped it would not be small, because fans across the globe were yearning to witness the spectacle, the beauty, the energy, and the emotional resonance of such a union, an event that to him was indeed a very big moment. And when pressed on how to approach a wedding for a celebrity couple of this stature, he explained that his team's work with high-profile figures always involved ensuring that the clients felt comfortable and confident, with strict protection of their privacy and the assurance that no details would be leaked to the media, while the planning process itself had to take into account whether the couple desired something intimate or monumental, domestic or international, mentioning how options like Italy or Paris were often considered. And he reflected that sometimes decisions were changed at the last moment, forcing planners to race ahead to adapt to new scenarios. But he emphasized that for someone like Taylor, who had waited so long, and who was now clearly thrilled to be preparing for marriage to the man she loved, the excitement must be extraordinary. A declaration that drew laughter from anchors, who joked that no balloon arches or Elvis impersonators were likely to feature in such a wedding. But the planner redirected attention to the cultural weight of the moment, pointing out that, although America lacked a monarchy, this event came as close to a royal wedding as the nation might see, because Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had grown into cultural behemoths whose marriage would be viewed as iconic, and Tutera agreed wholeheartedly, calling it a chance for everyone to watch and be part of history, thanking the couple in advance for allowing the world to experience joy through their story. And he hinted that the celebration could end up evolving into something even bigger, leading into other possibilities not yet imagined. And as someone who had planned weddings across the world, he admitted his personal excitement at the chance that this one might be not predictable, but instead unique, memorable, and spectacular, since he never offered his clients what was ordinary, only experiences that were over the top if that was what they loved. And when asked what unpredictable and extraordinary touches he would pitch specifically for Swift and Kelce, he played coy, refusing to reveal strategies, publicly joking that such details were like pieces in a chess game that should be kept hidden until the right moment. But he listened as anchors mentioned how important family was to both, including nieces, and asked how one might incorporate music, sports, and family into the big day, to which he responded that the true beauty of weddings came not just from the union itself, but from the moments created with those who loved them, the shared joy, the extension of positivity in a world that desperately needed it. And he suspected Taylor and Travis were likely already debating whether to keep it small or make it huge, though his professional hope was that they would blend the two approaches depending on the location, which would be one of the most consequential decisions of all. And as the segment closed, he was thanked warmly for offering his perspective, with anchors joking that Swift and Kelce now had his contact information should they want assistance. Subscribe now so you never miss updates on stories like this. What struck observers as remarkable was not only the staggering speed of online reactions, but also the way the story had developed from a light-hearted podcast mention into one of the most talked-about celebrity engagements in recent memory. With Swift's immense fan base treating it as though it were a national event, further evidence of her cultural influence, and Kelce's role in sports, providing a crossover appeal that merged music and athletics in a narrative both intimate and public. A modern American fairy tale, and as experts speculated on themes, locations, and guest lists, fans online exchanged theories about whether the event would lean toward the dramatic or the understated, though most doubted Taylor Swift would ever choose anything that could be considered ordinary, while memories of her previous high-profile relationships and lyrics added further intrigue, and as planners whispered about possible European destinations or secret venues in the United States, excitement swelled, proving once again that in the absence of royalty, America had crowned its own icons, whose every milestone carried near ceremonial weight, making the announcement not just personal news, but a moment of collective cultural theater. Don't forget to hit subscribe, so you stay tuned for the next big twist in their story. With every detail yet to be revealed, from the dress to the guest list to the choice of music, speculation itself became part of the entertainment. The sense of waiting building anticipation, just as Taylor's own lyrics had done when she wrote of games, bets, and the dizzying highs of love, and just as sports fans felt suspense before a championship game, so too did Swifties and the general public feel suspense before what many were already calling the wedding of the century. A fusion of romance, celebrity, spectacle, and the dreams of millions watching from afar. A reminder of how stories once confined to private circles now unfolded on global stages where millions could witness and react in real time, each like, comment, and share, amplifying the collective experience until it became something larger than life, an engagement transformed into a cultural milestone destined to be remembered not just by fans, but by a generation that would recall where they were when Taylor Swift announced she was marrying Travis Kelce. Subscribe right now so you don't miss when the next chapter unfolds.